I mean, I guess people haven't seen too much of my grappling and wrestling that much, but at the end of the day, I'm a complete MMA fighter, and that's why I'm the best in the world. You know, I can strike with anyone, I can grapple with anyone, I can wrestle with anyone, but when it comes to putting it all together, I'm the best in the world.
Dricus is going to fight him hard from the opening bell. He's going to put him on his back foot. He's going to force him to engage in a very grueling affair. So if Khamzat Chimaev hasn't done all the necessary training, then Dricus Du Plessis will remain the champion.
Khamzat, man, he a beast, man. I saw him for a couple of seconds over there, man. He was murking people. He's a beast, bro.
Is he overrated in your opinion?
No. I think he's
worthy of all the praise. He's worthy of all the praise and everything that he receives.
Absolutely. I think Khamzat is a special fighter.
The excitement is breaking all limits as we're just a few days away from UFC 319, and both Khamzat and DDP have set their sights on ruling the middleweight division. While Khamzat's cardio has always been a question mark, DDP's grappling could also be a weak link. However, Dricus Du Plessis believes people overlook his grappling simply because they haven't seen much of it in action. He recalled how Robert Whittaker managed a well-timed takedown, but he escaped quickly, reversed the position, and dominated on the ground with strikes and submission threats. For him, those moments proved he was a complete fighter, capable in every area, which is why he saw himself as the best in the sport.
Do you think people are underestimating your grappling?
Absolutely. I think I just don't think people have seen a lot of it, so it changes the game. I think if, you know, Khamzat mentioned it, he said, Robert Whittaker took me down. He did. He got a good time takedown. I got up very easily. You know, when Rob took me down, I got up with no problems, took him down, and I dominated him on the floor in a way where I was landing, I cut him, I was landing massive elbows. The threat of the choke was there the whole time, and the round ended, and I'm sure if that round didn't end at that stage, it would have been the end of the fight right there. But yeah, I mean, I guess people haven't seen too much of my grappling and wrestling that much, but at the end of the day, I'm a complete MMA fighter, and that's why I'm the best in the world.
Dricus Du Plessis expects the opening round against Khamzat Chimaev to be wild and non-stop. He made it clear that he wouldn't be entering the fight just to defend takedowns, but to push forward with his own offense. Drawing from examples like Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, he pointed out that challenging Khamzat with offense, rather than only defending, was key to keeping the fight competitive.
It's going to be absolute chaos. I just think, you know, I don't see him coming in with a different game plan, and me neither. I'm going out there to attack. I'm going there to kill him. I'm not going out there to defend Khamzat's takedowns. I'm not going out there to defend. I'm going there to attack. So I think it's going to look a little bit different. I mean, if you look at the Gilbert Burns fight and the success he had with Khamzat, that's a very, very good. Even with the Usman fight, Usman was, well, people don't just go and defend against him. He was forced. Usman was forced to defend, and he did a great job. And then he started with his offensive wrestling and you know, showing Khamzat that he's not the only one who can wrestle in there. I think that was a big key in that fight.
Dricus Du Plessis admitted that Khamzat Chimaev would be his toughest challenge yet, but said entering a fight as the underdog was nothing new for him. He pointed out that every title defense comes with a dangerous opponent, and believed this matchup was no exception. Confident in his abilities, he promised to demonstrate his continued improvement and justify why he remains a champion.
You're an underdog heading into this fight. Is this going to be the toughest fight for you yet?
Well, I mean, yet to lose means that I have to lose some time, and I don't need that. I have 2 losses in my career. I know how it feels, and I'm completely fine if I never feel it again. But yeah, I'm the underdog. I've been the underdog most of my career, but yet I am the champion. So, you know, odds don't make fights. And for me, I 100% believe this is the best opponent that I've faced to date, but so was the previous one. You know, every time that you step in there, you are going to face the next most dangerous guy, especially as a champion. Mm-hmm. So for me, yes, this is the best fighter that the best opponent that I've ever come up against. But once again, I will show my improvements and why I am the champion.
Khamzat Chimaev also expressed respect for Dricus Du Plessis, pointing out that unlike many others who avoided him, the champion had been calling for this fight even before his last bout. Chimaev said it was rare to see opponents seeking out the challenge, which made him appreciate DDP's willingness to face him.
I don't know, I believe him. When I've talked to him about it, and I remember even before he fought his last fight, he was saying, I want that guy. I want Khamzat. I want the guy that people think is the scary guy.
Respect that. So not everyone saying that, you know. So a lot of guys was running away from me, you know. So he gets the champ and he says I want to fight him. It's good, respect, and what I can say about it. It's good for me.
Yeah, it is. And
Meanwhile, Dricus Du Plessis said fans have only seen a fraction of what he can truly do, as he's still growing into his full potential. He credited experience and ongoing improvement for transforming him since his debut, and emphasized his commitment to sharpening every part of his skill, set in the pursuit of an ideal performance, even if perfection can never be fully achieved.
Then again, I'm not fighting at perfect. I'm fighting at a 6 out of 10 here. I'm still far away from giving the performance that I know I can. I'm far away of being the striker that I know I can be, the wrestler and the grappler. You know, when you get into fights, because of situations, you know, the fighter that I know I can be, how I can strike, it's difficult to do it in a fight. But you know, as my career goes, the Dricus that made his debut versus Dricus that fought the last time, it's two very different people, and I keep evolving and getting better, and that's why I feel I'm chasing the perfect round, the perfect fight, doing everything to perfection in a fight. I think it's impossible, but it's worth chasing.
On the other hand, former UFC champion Rampage Jackson ranked Khamzat Chimaev among the best fighters to train at their gym. Even in the brief time he watched him, Jackson saw Chimaev dominating his training partners and described him as an absolute beast.
One person who's training inside the gym is Khamzat Chimaev. Compared to all the bodies you've seen come through the gym, where does he stack up?
Man, he's one of the best. You know, we had Khalil Browntree coming there. He's a beast as well. You got what's his name? Lukin. What's his name? Arman and Lukin.
Arman Sarukian.
God damn it, I mess up everybody's name. Arman Sarukian.
Sarukian.
Yeah, he's a beast too. Yeah, but Khamzat, man, he a beast, man. I saw him for a couple of seconds over there, man. He was murking people. He a beast, bro.
Rampage Jackson said Khamzat Chimaev didn't really compare to anyone he had faced, calling him a completely different kind of fighter. However, he noted that Chimaev's relentless work ethic reminded him of Michael Bisping, who was known for pushing himself to the limit in training.
Who do you compare that to? You fought the who's who. You've been inside the octagon with John Jones. Who does Khamzat Chimaev remind you of, if anybody at all?
No, he don't. No, he's a different animal. But his work ethic reminds me of Michael Bisping, though. Okay. Yeah, Michael Bisping was always an animal in the gym. That's why I love training with that kid.
UFC legend Michael Bisping also highlighted Dricus Du Plessis' massive size for a middleweight, his proven jiu-jitsu skills, and his willingness to challenge Khamzat Chimaev in grappling exchanges. He pointed out DDP's strength, endurance, durability, and knockout power, stressing that the real question would be whether Chimaev could sustain his pace over 5 rounds without fading.
Du Plessis is a gigantic middleweight, walks around at about 230 pounds, diets down to 185. He's got excellent jiu-jitsu. We've seen the videos of him tapping out multiple black belts. He's spoken quite openly that he's going to beat Khamzat at his own game. He's going to go toe-to-toe. He's going to walk him down. He's going to choose to grapple with him and test him down there on the ground. He's big, he's strong, he's got a good gas tank, he's got an excellent chin, and he's got knockout power. So we are going to see if Khamzat Chimaev can really push it over 5 rounds, because if he can't, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Michael Bisping praised Khamzat Chimaev's exceptional wrestling, noting how he could shoot from unusually far away yet still land takedowns due to his speed and power. He believed Chimaev's explosiveness and strength made him nearly unstoppable once he managed to grab hold of an opponent.
Khamzat Chimaev is just ridiculous, right? The wrestling on this guy is phenomenal. The way that he shoots a double leg and closes and covers so much distance, it's wild. He shoots from so far out that it shouldn't work, but he's so explosive and so powerful, he makes it work. He closes the distance, and all he needs to do is get a hold of you. So I assume that Khamzat is also ridiculously strong as well, because he's fast, powerful, he's explosive, he's got good wrestling, and if he gets his hands on you, you're going down.
Michael Bisping said that Khamzat Chimaev has tried in the past but still fights the same way because of his confidence in finishing opponents quickly. Bisping explained that Chimaev believes he only needs a minute, 2 minutes, or at most 1 round to put someone down and either submit or knock them out. He described Chimaev as a special fighter but acknowledged that cardio could be an issue. He added that Chimaev has a new strength and conditioning coach and is pushing himself to the limit.
Khamzat Chimaev has got tired in the past, but he still chooses to fight the same way. That's because he believes in his ability. He believes that all he needs is a minute or 2 minutes, or certainly at tops, 1 round with the guy, and he will put them down and he will finish them. And if he doesn't submit them, then he will knock them out. This is the self-belief that Khamzat Chimaev has. He is a very special fighter. However, the cardio could be an issue. We've spoken about that at length. He's got a new strength and conditioning coach. He's pushing himself to the limit.
On the other hand, Khamzat Chimaev jokingly suggested that he would never be booked to fight in the UFC's White House card, teasing that his being a Muslim might keep him off it. Smiling as he spoke, he said he was simply an athlete but still doubted such an opportunity would come his way.
Everyone's talking about that White House fight, that White House card next year.
Bro, look at my face. I don't think so. They may let me come over there, bro. Bro, I don't know. I'm like an athlete, you know, sports.
Michael Bisping addressed Khamzat Chimaev's claim about struggling to get a U.S. work visa, noting that with the fight taking place in Chicago and Dana White's close ties to Donald Trump, entry shouldn't be an issue. He added that if Chimaev managed to beat Dricus Du Plessis, especially during Trump's current term, it was unlikely he would face any visa problems during his championship run.
Out recently and said it's because he was struggling to get a work visa in the United States of America. Of course, this fight is going down in Chicago. Dana White, UFC president, of course, is very close friends and has a special relationship with Donald Trump. So regardless, they've made that happen. So I don't think getting into the States is going to be an issue. If Khamzat Chimaev does beat Dricus Du Plessis, and that's a big if, by the way, I don't think getting into the States is going to be a problem. Certainly not under his championship run. Donald Trump has got another 3 years in the Oval Office. Of course, a lot of people are going to be trying to impeach the guy, but he's got another 3 years, give or take, in the Oval Office. So Khamzat Chimaev, in the prime of his career, is going to have absolutely no problem getting into America.
Moreover, Caio Borralho admitted he had often underestimated Dricus Du Plessis in the past, but DDP kept proving him wrong. Still, he felt Khamzat Chimaev brought a unique challenge that fighters often misread. Borralho explained that Chimaev didn't rely on standard wrestling, but blended it with jiu-jitsu to create a system. He believed success in this fight would depend on preparing for Khamzat's style specifically, not just for a wrestler, and he wasn't sure if DDP would be ready for that.
Actually, right now, it's hard to bet against DDP because he always shut my mouth, you know? I always bet against him and he always shut my mouth. So it's hard to bet against him, but it's hard to bet against Khamzat. It's just gonna be how prepared to the Khamzat style. That is not a wrestling style, it's a different thing. That's the mistake that people do a lot. They prepare to fight against a wrestler, and Khamzat it's not pure wrestling. He has a system. He does something different. He puts jiu-jitsu on the wrestling, so he needs to be well prepared, not against a wrestler, but against this Khamzat style. And I don't know if he's going to be ready for that.
Caio Borralho thought the matchup had the potential to end quickly, similar to how Dricus Du Plessis finished Robert Whittaker. However, he also believed that if the fight went deeper into the later rounds, DDP might start to gain the upper hand.
I feel that this fight can be as fast as the Whittaker fight, like really.
Oh, wow.
I think this fight can be really, really fast. But I can see this fight going to the second, the third round, and then I see some advantage for Dricus, you know what I mean?
Caio Borralho noted that Dricus Du Plessis' size and strength could make it difficult for Khamzat Chimaev to keep him down. He felt DDP was capable on the ground, and that if the fight went past the early rounds, Khamzat might tire from using so much energy, giving Dricus a better chance as the bout progressed.
Do you feel like Dricus' size will be a problem at all, or not really?
Yeah, size and strength, you know? Like, I think Khamzat, to make him stay on the ground and all that, and Dricus is not bad on the ground, you know? So to make him stay on the ground and all that, if Dricus can take like 1.5 rounds or 2 rounds, maybe Khamzat will be like fatigued for doing so much strength and all that, and then the fight's gonna get better to Dricus, you know?
Coach Morin Visser suggested that Khamzat Chimaev's trademark fast start wouldn't be a problem, saying they might even flip the script and attack first themselves. He hinted that if Dricus Du Plessis brought the early pressure, it could completely change the fight's dynamic.
Khamzat is known for sort of rushing at people in the first 2 rounds. What do you see those 2 rounds? What do you see those 2 rounds look like when Dricus gets in there?
No, let him rush. That's to say, if we don't rush him, What's he gonna do if he rushes Dricus? He's just gonna rip his head off. But don't be surprised if we rush him first.
Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev's head coach, Joachim Karlsson, said their camp wasn't concerned with trying to adapt to Dricus Du Plessis' unusual style. Instead, he explained that their approach was built entirely around Khamzat's strengths, focusing on executing their own game plan regardless of how Dricus chose to fight.
How do you prepare for a guy like Dricus? Because I think anyone who watches Dricus' fights kind of don't know what he's doing, and sometimes I wonder if maybe Dricus knows what he's doing. So how do you exactly prepare for a guy who fights in such an unorthodox way?
We don't think of that so much. Think about what Khamzat can do. So it doesn't matter how DPP he fights. We don't care. We do it our own way.
On the other hand, Luke Rockhold described Khamzat Chimaev as a relentless force who comes out with intense pressure right from the start. He said Chimaev's wrestling and grappling made him a constant threat, and the real challenge for opponents like Dricus Du Plessis would be surviving the early onslaught in the first couple of rounds.
And making it into the country, is he looking sharp going into this DDP fight from what you've seen in the gym?
I mean, I don't go watch it. I don't go watch it every training session. But he's, Khamzat, you know what he's gonna do. He's a fucking beast. He's a wrestler. He's a grappler. He's gonna get relentless pressure. He's gonna start fast and hard. And can Dricus take that? Can he take that first round, that first 2 rounds? I mean, that's what life is about for his fight, his opponents. Can they withstand the barrage? Because he's going to bring it.
Luke Rockhold felt that Khamzat Chimaev would struggle to maintain his usual intensity deep into the fight. Having trained extensively with Dricus Du Plessis, Rockhold knew how durable and unshakable he could be. He believed the only way to beat DDP was to dominate him from the start or finish him early, as his unusual timing, confidence, and ability to mix up his game made him a constant problem over the full fight.
Do you reckon Khamzat will be able to handle DDP later on in the fight if he can survive?
I don't like those opportunities for him. I've trained with DDP a lot. He's tough. He ain't gonna go away. You gotta dominate him. You gotta finish him. I mean, you gotta dominate him from start to finish. Or you gotta finish him early. I mean, and I just don't see how Khamzat's gonna keep that pressure. That his intensity you can only keep that for so long. That's not 5-round material. DDP is tough. He's tough as fucking nails. People don't give him a lot of credit. He's just awkwardly. He's got weird timing and rhythm, and he's good. And he mixes it up. He's very confident, and that's what everything's about. So he's got good grappling, decent wrestling.
Meanwhile, Corey Brundage admitted he often doubted Dricus Du Plessis before his fights, only to watch him win convincingly almost every time. He pointed out that DDP had dominated most of his opponents, while Khamzat Chimaev had also steamrolled through his competition. Brundage felt criticism of Khamzat's cardio was overblown, noting that he went the distance with Kamaru Usman, who was considered one of the greatest welterweights at the time.
So do you burn or chill Khamzat beating Dricus Du Plessis?
Bro, that's a good one. Because, every fight, I'm like, DDP is not winning this fight. There's no way. And he wins. And he not only does he win, he really dominates, bro. There haven't been many fights he's had that I felt like were very close, except for maybe his first Sean Strickland fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, bro, he's really run through pretty much everybody. And he's big for the weight. But Khamzat also has run through everybody. And everybody's hating on his cardio, but bro, he's a savage. He went the distance with Kamaru, and it was only 3 rounds, but Kamaru, people were saying, it was the greatest welterweight of all time. So I know he lost a couple fights. People forget that shit, but in the moment, it was like, bro, this guy is an animal that he's fighting.
Yeah.
Corey Brundage ultimately leaned toward Khamzat Chimaev, believing his strength and control once he locked onto an opponent were on another level. He mentioned seeing footage of Chimaev training with elite wrestler Pat Downey and appearing to dominate him, which made Brundage think Khamzat could do that to almost anyone. Still, he admitted Dricus Du Plessis had to make him eat his words many times before.
He sat there and traded. It wasn't like he tried to grapple. I mean, outside of the first round, he really sat there and traded, and his pressure is underrated too.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see
ground,
Dricus on that.
On the ground, though? Oh my god.
Not even on the ground, standing too. His constant pressure.
Yeah. Well, I think Dricus is going to have to So if I'm Khamzat, I'm coming out and striking early. I'm gonna test his wrestling, and then the whole fight though, he's got to worry about the wrestling, right? So the striking becomes way easier, and then the pressure becomes way easier.
On the contrary, Elijah Smith picked Dricus Du Plessis to win. He said Khamzat Chimaev has been consistent with time off due to injuries or illness, while DDP stays strong even when he appears tired. Smith described Du Plessis as powerful, unpredictable striker, and noted that although Chimaev usually starts fast, he tends to gas out in later rounds. Since this is a 5-round fight, Smith believed that would favor DDP.
Ooh, I got DDP. I just think, like, Khamzat, he's been out for a while. I mean, yeah, I want to say for a while, but he's always in and out. A lot of times he's hurt, or I don't know what's going on. He's sick a lot. And DDP, for some reason, when he looks like he gets tired, he's actually not tired. And he's a strong, good striking, wild guy. And I think Khamzat, he comes out in that first round pretty strong. But as the fight goes on, I think DDP ends up winning that fight. Just because we've seen Khamzat kind of gas out a little bit, get tired in the later rounds, just because he comes out so hard, and it's a 5-round fight, so that also plays a big factor.
However, Johnny Walker predicted that Khamzat Chimaev would get the finish, praising his strength, skill, and effectiveness. While he acknowledged Dricus Du Plessis was talented, he felt Chimaev's abilities gave him the edge and described him as an unusually good fighter.
Khamzat gonna finish him. Khamzat he's a one of a kind, you know. The boy is very strong, very technical, and good in what he does, you know. I know Dricus is good as well, but I believe Chimaev it's better, bro. He's a weird guy, bro. He's good, you know.
Bantamweight fighter David Grant felt that if Khamzat Chimaev couldn't finish the fight within the first 2 rounds, the advantage would swing to Dricus Du Plessis. He described DDP's style as unusual but effective, noting that despite appearances, it consistently worked for him, and he was known to be very large for the division.
I think it's obviously, if Khamzat doesn't beat him in the first 2 rounds, then it's got to go to Dricus, I think.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's more likely?
Well, with DDP, you know, he just keeps proving. It's weird because you watch him and like no disrespect to him, but it's like he's got a strange style, you know. And it's sort of like it looks as if it shouldn't, but it does, you know. Like he's yeah. And I've heard I can't remember if I've ever seen him in person, but I've heard he's huge for the weight as well.
So that's all we have for today's video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Share your predictions for this matchup in the comments section and subscribe to our channel to get more UFC updates.